Every time you sit down to eat, your dog appears, silent, patient, watching your fork with those eyes that make you feel like the worst person alive. And you've always thought they just want your food. They don't. The real reason is something you've never considered. And by the end of this video, number 1 will change the way you feel about every meal you share with them. This isn't about hunger. It isn't about being spoiled. It's about 7 very specific things happening in your dog's mind right now, things most owners will never figure out. Let's start with number 7. Number 7, they're asking for a piece. Let's get the obvious one out of the way first because it's real, but it's only the surface. Yes, your dog wants some of what you're eating. Dogs are scavengers by evolution. For thousands of years, their ancestors survived by waiting near humans who cooked meat over fires and picking up the scraps that fell. That instinct didn't disappear. It just moved from the campfire to your kitchen table. But here's what most owners get wrong about this. Your dog isn't being greedy. They're running a program that's tens of thousands of years old. When they stare at your fork, part of their brain is still at that ancient campfire, waiting for the moment the scrap falls. And here's the detail most people miss. Watch what they do with their body. A dog begging for food from pure hunger will move around. They'll shift their weight, lick their lips, maybe paw at you. A dog who is just running the ancient program sits perfectly still, eyes locked on the food, totally calm. If your dog sits still when you eat, they're not hungry. They're in scavenger mode, patient, waiting, ritualistic. That's a completely different thing from hunger. And this is where it gets interesting, because the next reason has nothing to do with food at all. Number 6. The kitchen table is the one place they always know where you'll be. Think about your dog's day for a moment. You leave the house, you come back, you move from room to room, you disappear behind doors. You work. You sit on the couch, then get up, then come back. From your dog's point of view, you are unpredictable, except at mealtime. Mealtime is the one appointment in the day your dog can count on. Every evening, around the same time, in the same place, you will be stationary for 20 or 30 minutes. You won't leave, you won't move. You'll be right there. For a creature whose entire emotional life revolves around where you are and when you're coming back, mealtime is sacred. It's the most reliable part of their entire day. That's why so many dogs appear the moment you sit down, before you've even picked up a fork. They're not reacting to the food, they're reacting to the ritual. They've learned that sitting equals presence, and presence is what they live for. Watch your dog the next time you start cooking. Do they follow you around? Do they settle near the kitchen? That's not begging. That's anticipation, not of food, but of you, of the one moment in the day when you'll be completely still and reachable. And number 1, the one I promised at the start, it's not about food at all. It's about a question your dog has been asking you their whole life without words. Keep watching. Number 5, it's not the food, it's your face when you eat. Here's something most owners have never thought about. When you eat, your entire face changes. You relax, your shoulders drop. The expressions you wear during work, during stress, during the 50 small frustrations of the day, they soften. You become, for a few minutes, the calmest version of yourself. Your dog sees this. Remember, dogs read human faces better than almost any other animal on Earth. Studies have shown that dogs can distinguish between dozens of human microexpressions. They know your angry face, your worried face, your tired face, and your happy face. They've been cataloging them since the day they came home. The face you wear at dinner is one of their favorites. It's relaxed, it's content. It's you without the armor you wear outside. When they stare at your fork, part of what they're actually watching is you. Your jaw moving, your eyes softening as you taste something good. The tiny smile at the corner of your mouth when you enjoy a bite. For your dog, that's a beautiful version of you that they only see at certain times of day. The meal is the container, but the real reward for them is getting to witness you at rest. The next reason takes us back to something ancient, something buried so deep in your dog's brain that they can't help but act on it, even if they've never gone hungry a day in their life. Number 4, they're confirming there's enough food for the pack. In a wolf pack, food is not individual, food is collective. When the dominant member of the pack eats, every other member watches, not because they're hungry, but because they need to know. They need to know there is food. They need to know the leader is eating, which means there's surplus. They need to know their place in the order. Your dog inherited this wiring completely intact. When you eat, an ancient part of their brain is taking inventory. Is the leader eating? Yes. Is there enough? Yes. Is everyone safe? Yes. That watchful stare isn't judgment, it's a threat check. Once they've confirmed that the world is still working the way it should, leader is fed, food exists, pack is intact, something inside them settles. This is why many dogs will watch you intently for the first 5 minutes of your meal, and then lie down nearby and go quiet. They've completed the check. Everything is as it should be. Your dog isn't being rude. They're running a survival protocol that kept their ancestors alive for 40,000 years. And halfway there. Before we continue, remember what I said about number 1. Your dog doesn't want your dinner. They want something else entirely. Something you've been giving them without realizing it for their whole life. Keep watching. Number 3. They've learned exactly when you break. This one is going to make you smile. Your dog is a student of your psychology. Over months and years of watching you eat, they've collected data on one very specific question. At what point do you cave? They know. They know which meals make you generous. They know that breakfast is harder to get a bite from than dinner. They know that when you're watching TV and eating, your defenses are lower. They know that on Sundays, you tend to share more than on Tuesdays. And they know the exact face to make at the exact moment to maximize the chance of a scrap. This isn't manipulation, it's intelligence. Your dog has run thousands of experiments on you. Tiny variations in how close they sit, how long they hold eye contact, whether they whimper or stay silent, and they've optimized the approach that works. The breed of stare your dog gives you while you eat is the product of years of behavioral data collection. They already calculated that there's a 42% chance you'll change your mind by bite number 6. And somewhere deep inside, you kinda love that they figured you out. This next one brings us right to the edge of number 1, the reason that changes what every meal means to them. Number 2, it's a ritual of belonging. In a wolf pack, eating together is not just about food, it's about identity. The act of sharing a meal, watching the pack eat, being in their presence while food is consumed, is how a wolf knows they're part of the group. Dogs have carried this forward. When your dog stations themselves at your feet during dinner, they are performing the oldest ritual in their species. They are saying, I am here, I am part of this, I belong. Notice what happens when you eat alone versus when you eat with your family. If your dog has a clear bond with one specific person, they often sit at that person's feet, not the feet of whoever has the most food, because food isn't the point is the togetherness. This is also why some dogs get genuinely upset when you eat without them in the room. If you ever take a plate and shut yourself into another room to eat alone, and your dog scratches at the door, they're not being demanding, they're being excluded from the ritual that tells them they still belong. For your dog, eating time is pack time. It is, every single day, the ceremony of the family being whole. And now, the reason I've been holding back, the one that changes what every meal means. Number 1, they're asking you if you still love them. Here's the thing that most owners will never consider, but that every dog behaviorist quietly knows to be true. In your dog's entire emotional framework, food equals love. The first relationship your dog ever had with their mother was built around food. She fed them, she warmed them, she was survival itself. In a dog's brain, being fed by someone you love and being loved by someone who feeds you are not separate concepts. They are the same thing. When your dog came into your home, you inherited that role. You became the one who feeds. Every bowl of kibble you've ever given them has registered as more than nutrition. It is registered as confirmation. You are the one. You still want me here. I am still yours. Now, think about what your dog is actually doing when they watch you eat. They're not asking for food. They're watching the most important person in their world consume what sustains them. And they are quietly asking a question. They ask you every single day in 1,000 small ways. With the head on your knee, with the follow into the bathroom, with the stare across the room. Am I still part of this? Do you still want me here? Do you still love me? When you turn your head, meet their eyes, and hand them that tiny scrap, you're not spoiling them. You're answering the question. You're saying yes. Yes, you're still mine. Yes, I still love you. Yes, we still share. That's why that one small gesture means so much to them. Not because of the flavor, but because, in the only language they have, you just told them the thing they most needed to hear. And that's why, when you don't share, when you're busy or distracted or just not in the mood, you sometimes catch them lying down with a soft sigh, not quite as content as before. Not because they missed out on a bite, but because today, the answer felt a little less certain. So, the next time your dog appears at your feet the moment you sit down and watches your fork with those patient eyes, know what you're actually seeing. You're not being begged at. You're being asked in the gentlest and most honest way your dog knows, whether the bond you share is still unbroken, whether they are still safe inside your love, whether the pack is still whole. And every time you glance back at them, every time you smile, every time you reach down and slip them that tiny piece of whatever you're eating, you're giving them the only answer that matters. Yes. Still yes. Always yes. If this changed the way you think about mealtimes, consider subscribing. I make videos like this one for the people who want to understand the quiet conversations happening between them and their dogs, because those conversations are usually deeper than we realize. And before you go, if your dog greets you at the door every time you come home, there's something they're really saying with that greeting. And it's not what most owners think. That video is next. Take care of them. Every look is a question, and every kindness is an answer.